Free Comic Book Day is right around the corner, and I'm getting ready to take some more sketch templates out to Berserk Comics in Port St. Lucie, Florida, which is where I'll be hanging out for the morning of May 4th. But I had to update my templates, so I went into Canva, first time using Canva. I went in there to try to just kind of make a basic sketch template that I could print out and use for the event. And so I thought I'd show you real quick how I put it together, just in case you want to do something similar. You can do this easily in Photoshop, in Adobe Express, in pretty much any platform. Once you have a little bit of familiarity with one, they sort of carry over pretty well. So we're going to hop into Canva here. I'm not going to do a step-by-step tutorial just because I am brand new to Canva and am just kind of figuring it out for myself. But I think what I wanted to show here was, one, sort of my thought process behind it, and two, I was pretty comfortable once I hopped into it for the first time, probably because with a little bit of that familiarity, like I mentioned in other platforms, some of those fundamentals translate pretty well. So once I'm into Canva, I'm going to go into my projects. You'll see once I launch it here, I actually have two sets of designs. I made one before I decided to make the video, just to go ahead and have it ready. Then I realized I wanted to redesign it, so I thought, well, let me at least screen record it so I could share this. So what I'm going to do once I label my document and start working in here, I'm working off of an 8.5 by 11 sheet landscape. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to cut those sheets in half once I'm done. So basically this that I have here is an 8.5 by 5.5. I am using a heavier type of paper. It's cardstock, kind of cardstockish. I don't remember the weight that I bought on this. But it's a heavier paper just so it feels a little more substantial when you're giving it out, and also just so it handles inks and markers and things like that a little better. Okay, so once I am into my document, first thing I'm going to do inside of Canva for this project is I ended up making a line right down the middle of the page. You can see it snaps into place pretty well, so that was helpful. Ideally, and maybe Canva offers this too, I haven't found it yet, but in a lot of platforms you can have rulers and you can drag guides to different points just to help you map out your space. But in a time crunch on this project, I just drew a line right down the middle and it worked the same way. Just remember, if you do it this way, before you print, that you're going to want to delete that line so that you don't have this weird edged line still showing up in some of your cuts. So I'm going to add in a box right in the page here. That's my main art area. I'm going to adjust the frame, make it as thin as I can make it in Canva, which for this project was 1 point, and then I'm going to drop it to a grayscale line, just so it's a little more subtle on the page, not so blaring. I also have to change the fill color for that square to just be, you can make it white, you can make it nothing. Now I'm also going to add another white rectangle over top of the frame just to break up one of the lines. You can see I started at the top here, but I'm going to end up moving that down to the bottom just for design purposes. So I'm going to add some subheadings from Canva. And I'm just going to start with these basic subheadings that they have already pre-programmed. And then I'm just going to type in some information just to let people know who they're getting this sketch from. So they'll have my name, have that information there. I'm going to adjust the font and adjust the font color. I'm also going to adjust the letter spacing just to mix it up a little bit, make it a little different. Now what I'm going to do too is I'm going to upload a graphic that I already have on my computer. This was something that I had made for a previous website that I designed. It's basically a scanned image of my signature. You'll also notice when I import it, there's a URL underneath it. I'm actually going to crop that URL out of this image because it's not currently functioning. Luckily, what I was hoping for and what I discovered inside of Canva was you can crop the image right on the page. So that made it super easy to just kind of hide that website. You can see I start at the top of the frame here. Ultimately, I do decide to move that down to the bottom of the frame just because I felt like it was getting a little top heavy, and I wanted the art itself to just kind of have that impact up top. So I'm going to move that to the bottom, and then beneath the signature, I'm also going to add in a few of my social handles that I'm trying to promote. I'm trying to really promote my Whatnot presence right now. And then I'm going to also add my Instagram and my YouTube. Now, in an ideal world, I would have the same handle for each of those platforms, but didn't quite work out that way as I was managing each of those at different stages of my creativity, or however you want to describe it. Not the end of the world, but just makes it that you've got to add a couple extra lines there. So once I have all of this in place, you'll see as I was working on sections of this, I was also grouping elements. That just helps me manipulate them together. Once I get a stack of items or a group of items that I'm happy with, I want to make sure they move in concert with each other, I'll just group all of those. So now once I have the entire left-hand side of this document worked out, I'll just group everything on that page so that I can copy it and then paste it on the right-hand side. That way I have two of the exact same elements, and that way when I print these, I can just chop it right in half, and I have extra pages to sketch on at the show. So you'll notice as I work on this document, I do have some color elements on it. In a perfect state, I would go in beforehand and just convert all that stuff to black and white. I was on a little bit of a time crunch for this one, and I knew I was just going to print it in black and white from the printer, so I didn't worry so much about a couple of things being in color on this document. Once I am finished with the entire layout, I will just download it as a PDF to my computer. And then the PDF is what I'll use to print out these pages. Again, I'm going to use a heavier cardstock, which I already have on hand. And when I print, I'm going to make sure that I set the printer settings to black and white. Once they print, I'm just going to take them into my X-Acto cutter, paper cutter, and just try to cut them right down the middle as best I can. And that's it. Now I have neat little sketch cards, or pages, that I can take to shows. I can draw on them. I'm going to pre-draw on some of these just to have them ready to hand out. I'll have some blank ones with me that I can sketch as people are requesting things or hanging out. And then, hand them a little something to take with them. And it has my branding on it, so that hopefully I'm getting more eyes onto my Whatnot or Instagram or YouTube, that kind of a thing. By the way, speaking of Whatnot, as I mentioned, I am new to that platform. If you have not tried it out yet, if you're curious at all, I have a link down in the description. Feel free to click on that. You can get a credit from Whatnot to spend anywhere on the platform. It's been a lot of fun. I go on there periodically, and I'll once or twice a week I try to. And I'll just do some drawing, do some sticky note drawings, do some sketch covers, I'll do some other stuff coming up, and it's just been a lot of fun. So if you want, come hang out at the drawing board. I'm going to be drawing anyway, so I just fire up the stream, and yeah, it's a good time. All right, that's all I got. If you have any questions, or if you have any ideas for how this could be improved, feel free to leave those down in the comments. Again, I was doing this as like my first project inside of Canva. I just logged in using the trial version of the service just to kind of get my feet wet with it and compare it to other ways that I've done it in the past. Worked really easy. I'm pretty happy with what I got. It's not an overly complex design, but it's going to get the job done for what I need coming up. So, all right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.